Welcome back. This is Tim and Julie Harris. This is, of course, your favorite daily real estate coaching and trading podcast. Now, as promised, Julie and I are going to be doing a deep dive about all things AI and about Sora. And we've been talking about this for 18 months, really 24 months ago when OpenAI and some of these other companies started launching their AI models, their learning models, their chat bots, whatever you want to call them. And we've been watching these things evolve. We had a set of predictions, Julie and I, about a year ago that we thought by the end of this year, you are going to see the complete annihilation of all sorts of branding and marketing schemes that agents have been relying upon for, last 15 years come to an end. And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your perspective, we're seeing all those things play out. And what we're going to do today is we're going to give you, and I want all of you to argue against what I'm about to propose to you. And Julie and I have been talking about this obviously nonstop for almost 2 years. And I've also had some great conversations with some of my top elite coaching clients about this as well. I'm going to present to you, Julie and I are, what is going to happen now. It's not going to happen, it's happening. What's happening in AI, what's happening with Sora 2, what's happening with all these other models that are being developed that none of us even really know about yet. Why that will absolutely be the end of marketing and branding as we know it for real estate agents. Now, I want to remind all of you, these are the notes that Julie and I have prepared. We're in the process of preparing articles for a lot of the state real estate publications, Florida, Virginia, California, Housing Wire, things like that. I want you guys to have these notes because these are the notes that all of these articles are going to be based upon. So if you want to get the notes, they're free. Just go to harrisrealestatedaily.com or click the link below. All right, Julie, so you ready?
I am. So I tried to organize our notes as best as possible. A lot of this is new to me as well. Certainly not the AI aspect. You and I have been using ChatGPT and Grok for quite a long time, but the Sora aspect, I'm still kind of massaging in my mind. So I tried to put this into segments. Let's tee this up. The title
Well,
of today's
I
podcast is
actually,
Why AI Just Killed Your Real Estate Branding Edge.
right. So Julie, I don't want to use your notes. I want to leave those for the
Okay,
actual for the newsletter subscribers, okay?
that's
Because
fine.
these notes are very succinct, but what I'd like to do is summarize all these notes and just give them examples as if we were on a coaching call. Does that make sense?
As long as you are tolerant of me getting back up to speed and being conversational about this, because I'm, a
No, it's
bullet point
perfect because
digester myself, but that's okay.
no, but it's great. Yeah, I understand. So you're going to be more like they are, where you're
Yes.
feeling like you're learning on the job, which is great because I have honestly spent way too much time in all this. Because
I'll represent Agent Kind for you.
exactly. So you're going to represent Agent Kind, right?
Yeah,
Um, so let me just start out by saying this, and I want all of you, and Julie, I want you to actually, you can play devil's advocate, okay?
sure.
I want you to, uh, I want you to argue against what I'm saying. And I'm going to give you this little precursor. Good luck. Okay.
It's
All
fine.
right. So here it is. I'm going to tell you what's happening now. And this is, again, exactly what Julie and I told you guys almost 2 years ago would be happening. Everybody and their brother that has a real estate license is going to be a real estate influencer. Everybody and their brother who's, either on social media now, making reels, making short videos, doing TikTok things, doing long form videos on YouTube, all of those people, a lot of them have spent, and some of them have gotten really good, but they've spent an enormous amount of time creating content because they thought that content would be essentially a moat around their business that would be, essentially difficult for any potential competitors to cross over. And so their mindset and approach to essentially lead generation and building a business with a moat, which is what all of us want ultimately, was to create mountains and mountains of content. And for a while, it did work, mostly for buyer leads, but it really did work. So if you're going, and here's how they bought into this, fallacy, which is proven to be a fallacy, which again, the writing has always been on the wall. Here's the big takeaway. Never build a mansion on land you don't own. Never build a mansion on land you don't own means that you don't want to build this house, this mansion, and not own the underlying, land. And if you're building your business based on platforms, based on anything like social media or the rest of it, the algorithm just changes. Last month, we talked about the fact that Instagram just changed and made a lot of these agents Instagram, all their efforts, in some cases, years of efforts, a decade of effort, largely obsolete. And what happened last week on Instagram is now happening across all platforms. We're not going to talk about algorithms. What we're going to talk about is AI. So here's what is happening. you're going to have access to the Sora app soon. We've got a developer's version, so we've been able to play around with it, but you're going to have access to it. You're going to stand in front of your phone, okay? And the phone, you're going to stand it there, and the phone is then, you're going to go in a circle. It's going to scan your body. It's going to scan your face. It's going to scan you exactly. And when I say exactly, I'm gonna hopefully have our editor drop in some videos. Just give me a sec. And it's going to be exact. It's going to be an exact one-for-one avatar of you. Then the AI version of you is going to be able to, then we're going to put the AI version of you to work. Go ahead, Julie.
Okay, so I'm going to slow your roll just for a second, representing Agent Kind here, because some of them have been up to their eyeballs in appraisals and writing contracts and going on listing appointments and open houses. You just kind of glazed over it. You're talking about Sora, Sora, as the app that you're referring to. That's S as in Sam, Ora, which was invented by OpenAI, I believe, or ChatGPT.
It was,
right?
and they can't have access to it right now because you have to have a special members access. You have to have
For
a
now.
code and all the rest of it for now, right? But Sora is just the first one that's being created by ChatGPT. But there's dozens and dozens of others that I know about that are coming out. Frankly, the one I'm most excited about is the one that's being made by Elon. That one's going to have unbelievable technology. But let me just make this point, okay?
Sure.
So what's going to happen then is you're going to read a script. Sora then has you read something. You read slow, you read fast, you read loud, you read quiet. It's going to know your voice. And none of this takes a long time. When you're doing the video thing, you're going to go in a circle. It's going to take you from the side, from the front. It's going to have a complete visualization. It's going to create an avatar version of you. And then it's going to do the same thing for your voice.
Using only your iPhone, not a bunch of equipment, not a bunch of upgraded stuff, and no expenditure.
Exactly. You don't have to go to a studio. You can do it outside. You can do it in your family
No
room.
videographer, nobody you have to hire.
Exactly. So all of this is available now. Get this clear in your head. Now what's going to happen is you are going to think I'm oversimplifying it, but I am not. I've been playing with it. This is how it works. You're then going to have the app. You're going to say, I want to make 20, 100, 200, 2,000 videos where it's me talking about and presenting all the features and benefits of living and working in my community. I want you, this is me, or this is you telling AI what to do. I want you to go in, listen to what I'm saying. I want you to study and tell me what all the best videos that have ever been made by any real estate agents based on the number of views and likes and all the essential attraction that those videos have garnered. And I want you to create versions of those videos for me. And so here's what it's going to do. It's going to go not just in your local market, but it's going to go everywhere. And it's going to look for videos that you've never seen before, but it had like an outsized, result. It's going to then watch the video. It's going to get a transcript of the video. Then it's going to rewrite the script that it just learned from watching and listening, write an original version just for you, that pertains to your market. Are you following me here? This is happening now. Now, what's going to do is then going to use the avatar Julie along with her voice, and it's going to be Julie walking through the local woods in, Worthington, Ohio or whatever, talking about the history of just whatever it is, right? And then it's going to be Julie walking down Old Worthington, and Julie maybe going through a house preview, walking through a new neighborhood, all these different things. You can completely and totally control. And you guys, if you're on YouTube, and you can go and you can see some of these Sora videos. It says Sora 2. You cannot, a lot of them right now are just hilariously funny. I don't know if you guys have seen
People have been playing with it, being creative.
Yeah, right. The Bigfoots around the campfire and stuff. I mean, some of them are just hilarious.
But the point is that this is not like a cartoon avatar like some
No.
of us have seen on tutorials of things we're learning. This is like you would not be able to discern Avatar Julie from me talking right now because it scanned my face and even my voice, because that has been some of the criticism of previous attempts at this, is it was clunky, it was choppy. You could tell that it wasn't real.
Well, okay, so here's an example. This is real, but I bet you within 6 months, Julie and I are going to start doing podcasts, and you're going to watch them, and it's going to be AI, Tim and Julie. It's going to be our avatars. And the AI is going to watch all of our previous videos. It's going to know that I use my hands too much and, all the things. It's going to know Julie and I. And then we're going to tell it, I want you to tell me what the hot topics are that agents are talking about right now that we should create podcasts around. It's going to research it. It's going to write the scripts, and then Tim and Julie are going to present them. That's what's going to happen. Where am I going with all this? Because if you have built your moat around, the idea that social media and having an enormous amount of content was going to be ultimately what protected your brand and built your brand, it's obsolete. Like that. It's gone because everybody and their brother is going to be able to do the same thing. I'm sorry if you're scared. I know a lot of you are. I've been getting calls and emails since we talked about this in earnest yesterday on our show. But the reality of it is it's still true and you're not going to stop it. So, yes, if all you know how to do, and you might be really talented at it, is make short form reels and videos and content, and that's what you've been able to probably attract a lot of first time buyers to you. Maybe you've used it sometimes to reinforce relationships with sellers in your market too, the rest of it. Everybody is going to do the same thing. And they're going to be able to do it 24/7. There's going to be no limit to how much of this social media content and long form content. I got something crazy for you. The percent of people that are watching YouTube in particular on their TVs and no longer watching, cable, let alone Netflix, is going through the roof. YouTube is already become one of the, if not the biggest search portal for people searching for information on planet Earth. I think it surpassed Google. And I think AI is still going to
by
surpass
quite a
YouTube.
bit, actually. Yeah.
But you get the concept of what I'm saying here, right? So people are watching YouTube on their, flat screen TVs in their theaters and whatnot, or their iPhones, as if that's where they're going to go for media. So what you will have to do is use AI to create an enormous amount of content for you. And it's not going to be difficult to do. It's going to be largely free. You're not going to have to learn how to do anything. It's going to be super simple. And if you're an 80-year-old grandma with a real estate license, get ready. You're about to become a real estate influencer. Every single new agent getting their license within 90 days, they're going to get their business cards if they're still using them. They're going to get access to the MLS, and then they're going to be essentially doing their Sora, and they're going to be doing a mountain of social media content, and it's all going to be done. They're not going to have to be creative. They're not going to have to think about what to present, what to wear, anything. It's just going to be click, 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 and it's all going to be done. So Julie, you tell me right now, argue against what I just said, because I think this is the official death notice for agent branding as we've known it. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, what I think that, just to translate what you're saying, why this is the death of branding, is because when everybody becomes the same and it's ubiquitous, the words we like to use, meaning everybody's basically doing the same thing, and we all have the same tools and they're all free, and I can just go and say, make me one of those videos, because it can take an existing video and make it better, or it can create something fresh for me. What difference does it make? To me, the difference is I better have real skills in the real world,
Well,
IRL.
don't go there. Don't go there yet, because that's where it goes.
But I'm not sure that I can argue against you. What I was thinking is from two perspectives, because there's two varieties of agents listening right now. One is I'm somebody who's made mountains of that kind of content and short reels and videos, and I've gotten a lot of action from that, and I love it. I've gotten good, I've got good content. That's a type of agent. Then I've got other agents listening that have just largely said, that's not for me. I don't like being on video. I haven't done the TikTok thing. I haven't done any of these things. So if you could speak instead maybe to both sides of that, the one that figures they've got the branding thing figured out, I've got that mousetrap, I've got all the content in the world, what should I do? Versus the agent that hasn't done a single thing about it. What are the two different perspectives?
First of all, if you're making a mountain of content, guess what? You're going to get a lot more of your time back that you were spending creating content. You're going to get all that time back, and you could do something else with that time, because the content's going to be made for you automatically, basically for free. And if you're somebody that's never wanted to do it because it just wasn't your jam, well, guess what? This is the first time in your life where procrastinating's paid off, because the best version of you is actually going to look, guys, I screwed around with some of this yesterday. I can't save it and share it, otherwise I would. Let me just give you a for example. Let's just say you're 70 years old and you're in the real estate business and you have a license and you sell in Columbus, Ohio. And you're excited about this. You're going to have fun with this. You're going to let the AI, it's just going to go wild for you. You're going to be able to create, for example, you on a plane, skydiving, talking to a camera while you're skydiving about this great listing, and you're so excited to show them. The camera's on you. You've got the helmet on. Hair is blowing everywhere. Clouds are passing by. You're clearly skydiving. It's indistinguishable. You've seen skydiving videos before, so it's you skydiving. It's your face. You're skydiving. Then your canopy is going to open, and you're going to land right in the backyard of the property. You're going to take your whole, outfit off, and then you're going to walk them through a house, right? I want you to think about that.
Yeah.
AI is going to be able to do all that for you. You can do whatever scenario you want to. You're driving a Formula One car to the streets because you're so excited to, show this. You guys get the whole point.
Well,
So
so I have a comment and I have a question when you're ready.
go ahead.
Okay, so my comment is, so that's great because that type of agent is no longer at a disadvantage, not having learned and put it together, all this figuring out and investment in all this different stuff. I'm no longer at a disadvantage. I can just use Sora and basically do it as good or better as anybody else. That's a good thing. The second thing is why to maybe argue against some of this. Why wouldn't this then become a race to make the most creative content?
AI will do
Because
it. They don't have to do it.
I know for to brainstorm it and make the AI do it for me so that I can be the most entertaining agent and that content becomes that. And I'm the skydiving agent. Every time I have a new listing, I
Well,
do a skydiving thing.
exactly.
What's to prevent it from just being a contest of entertainment on one level? You still have to, at least in theory, show up and take the listing and handle objections and close.
Well, but Julie, you're going to the skills thing, and that's ultimately where it's going to
Yeah,
go. So yeah, maybe your jam's going to be James Bond. Like who knows? You're gonna have, I don't know. I'm not going to be
it
the
could be
creative.
fun.
Yeah, you maybe want to be James Bond, who's sound and dress like Daniel Craig. You drove the Aston Martin. That's your thing. And so everyone starts calling you the James Bond real estate agent. Or maybe you don't want to play those games and you don't want to try to be
Right.
entertaining, and you just want your avatar to be a true one for one for you. That's simulating you exactly like you are. And you're still gonna be able to make a mountain of content that would have taken literally thousands of hours between the filming, writing the
Mm.
script, editing. It's all going to be done for you. Now, I'll suggest to you that a lot of you have been very successful without ever having to dip your toes into all of this stuff. And I'm not disagreeing with you that you haven't had to do it. What I'm suggesting to you now is you still don't have to do it, but you should do it because it's going to be largely free and require virtually no time. So you might as well do it because it could be, it'll reinforce your proactive lead generation. So where does all this go? And this is what terrorizes me. The AI doesn't scare me. The Sora 2 doesn't scare me. None of it scares me. And I'll tell you ultimately why. It's because you need a real estate license to do a transaction, and AI will never have a real estate license. And I don't want to use the word evolution that easily, but in essence, people will always want to have a real human as part of the decision-making matrix when it comes to something that's a big decision. You do, I do. When you're trying to make a big decision, you want to talk to actually a person. You might use AI. You're going to research something using AI, and then you're going to go and talk to somebody. You're doing a financial plan. That's how all this
Use the AI to fact check, and then you want reinforcement from a real
right.
human.
But you in real estate, the reason we're never going to be obsoleted is because you need a real estate license. You need a license number to do a transaction. In all 50 states, you cannot sell real estate without a license. So y'all have nothing to worry about. But if you're somebody who's essentially been overly reliant on social media and all of this stuff to lead generate for you, to differentiate yourself in the marketplace through branding, you have something to worry about. And I cannot think, and I've been looking for reasons to believe what I'm saying is wrong. Matter of fact, I had a long conversation with ChatGPT about this yesterday, going back and forth, and it agreed with me. It said and it wasn't just real estate, it's anybody who's essentially part of. So like this is the end of a cycle, the cycle of marketing and branding, and let's call it branding, that started in earnest in 2007, 2008, and it lasted a long time. It's officially dead. It's going to be replaced by AI, which will be AI version of you marketing and branding. But as far as a differentiator, it's gone because everyone's going to do the same thing. So this is what I'm terrified about. Not that. I'm terrified because there's a whole generation of agents who've only been selling real estate for 15 years or less, who've been told by fake gurus and coaches, sorry, but it's true, that this is how you win the war is just through a mountain of content. And now everyone's going to have a mountain of content. Those people, because they've never actually learned how to be proactive lead generators. They've never actually learned to do what they didn't want to do, and they didn't want to do it at the highest level. They don't know how to pick up the phone and have a real conversation. They don't know how to compete on a listing appointment. They don't have any real true differentiators because they were told that they didn't have to, because after all, your goal as a marketing and branding agent is to make it so that when people in your community think of you or think of real estate, they think of you because you're everywhere. You're on all the socials. You're all the things, right? Isn't that what you guys have been told to believe? But now when everybody's doing it, because everybody is going to do it, times a billion, 1.5 million agents in the country. Let's say half of them are going to partake in this. How is anyone ever going to find your well curated, well done, perfectly scripted and lit video anymore when everyone's creating better ones with AI? You think the platforms are going to differentiate between AI created content and human created content? Nope. Do you think consumers will care if AI created the video they're watching versus somebody who created it themselves? Nope. They will not care. I thought maybe that I tried to argue against myself in my logic, thinking that people would prefer that, or if there's a little AI watermark that people, Sora 2, you're seeing that, whether or not that would somehow devalue the content in the eyes of the consumer. Nope. People don't care. Where does this lead all of us? The only thing truly that's going to differentiate yourself in this marketplace going forward is this, and this is just the very tip of the iceberg of what we're all going to be experiencing, is your ability to actually communicate one-on-one with people, to know what to say and how to say it, to have high-level conversations with people, because you've been now, a lot of you, some of you, especially those of you who've been hunting buyer leads through social, you've been able to basically have those buyers be consumers of your content, and they're pre-sold to work with you by the time they actually raise their hand and say, I want to buy a house, right? That's true. And so you've never really had to learn skills beyond how to make great videos. And again, some of you have created really, really fantastic videos. You sincerely, some of it out there is really talented agents. Not taking anything away from you. But what I'm saying is AI is taking it all away from you. And
they're leveling the field.
Your competitive advantage, it's more than leveling the playing field, Julie. It's completely leveling it and then plowing it over. I mean, that's what's happening.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, a long time ago, you used to have an agent website where somebody could search for real estate in Columbus, Ohio, and the agent would pop up because you did a good job populating that. You figured that out. And then Zillow and all the rest came and shoved that page down so that you would never be found again. It kind of reminds me of that, only on a massive, probably global level, that you're never going to be unique in that scenario. It makes me think, like, instead of trying to always look like an expert, you're going to have to actually be the expert, the boots on the ground. You have to bring the skill, not just look like you might have skill.
But they've been right. And so a lot of them have been able to simulate skill.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Simulated professionalism is no longer going to be a thing.
Exactly. But if someone started to consume your content and they actually didn't know how to differentiate because your content was pretty good and it was interesting, and then when they came in contact with you, they're gonna probably choose to do business with you, and especially if they didn't end up comparing you to somebody else. But that's all about to change, and AI is going to make it so everybody's content. What AI is going to do is it's going to iterate on the last best of whatever content piece it was made, and it's going to make it better. So it's an arms war for best content, and AI is always going to be up in the ante. And anyone who thinks that they have a competitive advantage because they're going to be creating human-based made content, you're absolutely wrong. It won't happen. Sorry, but it won't happen. And this has happened before in Julie's notes that you guys can get from going to Harris Real Estate Daily. You can read all the examples, but there are countless examples of this technological, this happening. I mean, a simple one is, like, people used to, when you wanted a landscape, you would hire a landscape artist and he would or she would paint it for you and the whole thing. And then photography showed up, and the landscape artists and a lot of consumers said, well, that's not as good as an actual painting. It's just a replica, it's fake. And then what happened after time, people started seeing photography as an art form, as fine art in itself. And now some of the most famous artists are photographers. And so what's happened is the painting aspect has become largely not just a luxury, but not even in many cases preferable to people that are willing to buy photography. The same thing is happening, and I can give you countless other examples where this is going to continue to roll forward at a pace that we've never seen before. So here's what's going to matter here, and this is the bottom line. And Julie and I have been preaching this from the highest mountains for the last 30 years. And those of you who have been listening and you've been implementing what I'm about to say, you right now are going to have an enormous advantage. I'm going to give you the most simple, most complete, honest, and ethical real estate business plan you can ever have. And it's called the magic number formula. Here it is. And you guys can get this for free. And when you join Premier Coaching, it's included in the first level of Premier Coaching. It's called the Real Estate Treasure Map, and the magic number formula is part of it. So I'm on the phone on a coaching call today with Trent and Andy, and they're in California. And they're a little bit panicked about a lot of this stuff. They saw Sora 2. What's going to happen? And I said, okay, so here's your business plan. And here's what we're going to do. They are great listing agents, phenomenal agents. I love coaching them. Just beautiful, beautiful people. So their magic number of listings is 20 listings at all times. There's two of them. They can easily get to 20 listings at all times. I'm going to give you real numbers. You guys ready? In their overall MLS, there are 42,000 expired since the beginning of this year. In their Yeah, in their tighter reeled in area that they actually feel like they have a high level of specialization in, just this year, 16,000 expireds. Those are expireds. What do we know about it expired? Almost all of them relist and resell within 6 months, right? And like all of them resell like 95% within 12 months. So those are ready to go listing leads that you don't have to pay for. You just have to have the skills to know how to communicate with them and get them to want to list with you. That's what we have done forever, teaching agents to do that. But you will also have to do what you don't want to do, which is doing the real work, proactively generation of real estate when you don't want to do it, which is going to be anytime because you're never going to want to actually have a real sales call at the highest level. They're going to have to master that. So, but here's the magic. Thus the magic number formula name. They have 20 listings at all times. In their marketplace, on average, 6 or 8 will sell. On average, their average commission is something like 20 grand, 15 grand. I don't remember. Let's call it 20 grand. So if they have 8 listings sell per month of the 20, they'll make $160,000 per year. They'll make over $2 million, not buying any leads, not doing any marketing and branding, not doing moving trucks, not doing, urinal cakes and, none of it. Just focusing on, now they're killer centers of influence and past client agents as well. So they'll get a lot from that. Are you following me with what I'm saying? So their business model is this: build up to 20 listings at all times. And every single month they replace what they sell. Every single day, they're proactively lead generating, replacing what they sell. They know at 20 listings at all times, they're going to make on average $160,000 a month. That's a big number, right? $160,000 a month. They just have to maintain 20 listings at all times. They know on average about 7 or 8 are going to sell per month. So every single day, they have to set aside a couple hours a day to proactively lead generate centers of influence and past clients and expireds and replace the listings that sell. That is their entire business model. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's the business model. Maybe they're going to have someone to pound signs. They're going to have a transaction coordinator. And the transaction coordinator will also do some of the, ramping up the listing, those types of things, ordering the home brochures. Very profitable business doing it that way. They're at EXP Realty. They're going to they'll make 90%, 95% margins on that. They have nothing to worry about with the marketing and branding because all the other agents are rushing towards the marketing and branding. They're doing the marketing and branding, waiting for people to call them because after all, I've done all this marketing and branding. And if you go anywhere on social, you're going to come across my marketing and branding. You'll then want to call me. Nope. They're saying, I'm going to skip that line. I'm going to go right to the front door or the phone of the sellers that actually want to sell. What are you thinking, Julie? Argue against it? Good luck.
No, so you're saying their lives are not going to markedly change because they have that mousetrap figured out. They understand the magic number. They know exactly what they're supposed to do, and they know how to do it.
Right.
That's the definition of a top producer who should not live in fear of this. I think they might have some fun supporting their business with some of these things, with maybe doing, videos as like a coming soon video that might be entertaining and fun. They certainly don't have to do any of that. So I think that's exciting. My concern would be for agents whose avatar or their Sora videos are so much better than they might be in person. That's who I fear for. I don't know if you would agree or disagree with that.
It's totally
but that's
true.
what I would be concerned about, especially because this Sora app and others that will come like it, the quality is so much better and the ease of getting it done is so much better. And then it on its own will improve upon it. I was reading some stuff about it too, is that it learns by predicting what should come next. And it, just like using ChatGPT, when you ask it, how can I make this outline better? What would make it more interesting or robust? It gives you instantly, 10 ways that you can improve upon it. Wait till you have videos like that. And then the agent shows up and they get an objection and they're like, gosh, I didn't ask Sora about that. Let me get in the app and ask it.
Understand that the Sora stuff, the videos and all that, I want you to, so first of all, just go back to close the loop on Andy and Trent. So they could make, in their market, there's a lot of whitewater rafting that goes on. And so they could have Sora make whitewater raft. And a lot of people go there for that reason and buy houses there for that reason. So they could have Sora start making a series of them going down different rivers around
Yeah, that would
there.
be cool. Expand their center of influence using that kind of thing.
Well, not just that, but people are Googling to buy a house in that particular area, and they're going to see Trent and Andy whitewater rafting, and they're going to say, well, these are the agents for me. You guys see how it's going to work? But they're not going to have to put a lot of work into doing that. But Julie's point is something that ultimately all of you need to be understanding. What this is going to do, and it's going to do it so fast, your head won't even have time to spin. It's going to up the quality of not just all social media, but it's going to require that all of you up the quality of your skills. If not, you will be eviscerated, gone out of the market. You might have great social media content, but when they talk to you, if there's no follow-up with their experience when talking to you, or let alone meet with you, you're toast. And this is what's really, really been, I don't know, funny to me, is that every single person that has been marginalizing Julie and I's message for the last 20 years are all now trying to hit hard reset. These are other coaches and whatnot, mostly YouTube people who've been preaching to you guys about being the social media influencer types, right? They're all trying to hard reset because they realize their day is at an end for having any real meaningful impact on the marketplace. Because what they're now saying, what they've been saying, I was on somebody else's podcast and he was a big, that's just what he does. He coaches and trains agents how to create social media influence and all the rest of it. He knew everything I was saying. He and I talked about it prior to him hitting record. And then I brought it. There's no me on me, I'm not the different person when I'm not in front of a camera, and neither is Julie. We're the same exact people. So he hit record. We're doing the podcast, and I picked the conversation back up, and he was mortified because he does not have a plan B for his audience other than what he already knows to be obsolete. And he knows it's obsolete because we were talking about it before he started recording. And guess what he did? He shit canned the podcast. He's never played it. Yep. This was earlier this year because I was there because my North Star is being of service to agents and helping agents build their businesses. His was to sell them crap, not mine. Now, will you guys join coaching and training and whatnot? Probably. But on this podcast, it's our job to give you the best of breed information so you don't become real estate roadkill. All right, Julie, do your best job. Argue against my rant.
Well, I think the go-to argument would have been, if the content is so great, why don't, and I have a house to sell, why don't I just hire your avatar to do it for me? Why do I even need to meet with you?
No license.
It's because there's no license. So I'm not sure that there is an argument as long as we all need to be licensed to buy and sell and actually transact.
Right.
Because and I think that there would have been people, I think, you and I are pretty direct and time driven. And, if you can get the job done faster with an avatar and it's just as professional, then
let's hover there. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
hover there. Okay. So we're going to take it to the next level because Julie just teed me up. When you join Premier Coaching, you also have access to Ethical Real Estate Professional. You guys should go to Ethical Real Estate Professional, the website, and check it out. That is a proprietary brand that Julie and I have. There is a listing presentation, a pre-listing pack, a buyer presentation, a buyer pre-appointment pack that's included in Ethical Real Estate Professional. So here's how you're going to differentiate yourself. You're going to be an Ethical Real Estate Professional agent. You're going to send them an actual printed out copy of your Ethical Real Estate Professional listing or your pre-listing pack, let's say, but you're also going to send them a link to a website that they're going to be able to then have an interactive conversation with you about you presenting the pages. They're going to see the different options. I want to learn more about your communications guarantee. And then it's going to be Avatar Julie, and she's going to explain the communications guarantee. You're thinking, oh, Tim, that's just a video. No, no, no. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be able to answer questions in real time, in video. The person wants more information about just as if you were meeting with them in person. So, Julie's going to talk about the communications guarantee, why it benefits them, why they want it. And then then it's going to engage them in any other conversations. Do you have any questions about this? Are you 100% satisfied that my communications guarantee will easily meet or exceed the expectations you have for an agent to be communicative during the listing process? Great. So what else, that is going to move forward. I want to know about your flexible fee. I want to know about your easy exit listing. So it's not just going to be a static video that's going to be presenting. It'll provide the static information, but then you're going to be able to stop and you're going to have conversations with it where you can actually ask it questions. That's here now. and we're going to make all that available. So yes, you're going to be able to go have your avatar, Julie, go on listing appointments for you, but you're still going to have to show up the appointment, and you're still going to have to then basically not stumble over your own words and be a buffoon. So you're going to have to yourself have the skills so that if they ask you a question that your avatar already answered,
Yeah.
but they ask you a follow-up, you don't look like a fool because you don't
Yeah.
know
You
the
don't want
answer.
them to say, you're great and all, but can I talk to your avatar now?
That's going to happen.
Because they were more comfortable and they felt like it was more professional and they could hit pause. Like some of you, because you fire hose with too much information, the person can't pause you, but they could your avatar. There's all kinds of different things that this could lead to. But I think, from a professional standpoint, done correctly, it can greatly enhance your professionalism in your business, especially if you're somebody like the coaching clients you described who understand the mechanics of what makes a repeatable, duplicatable business work. This can be fantastic. Not embracing this, I think, like not having done any of this until now, you didn't really lose anything and you're not at a disadvantage. However, I think
If
going
you are a
forward,
proactively generator, preface
yes,
that. If you are a
right,
proactively generator,
correct.
if you skip the marketing and the branding, you are fine. But if you weren't and you were just trying to buy your leads, you've been suffering needlessly. That's the
Yeah.
truth. Yeah.
But now I don't know with as fast as this is moving forward and what your competition will potentially learn to deploy, I'm not sure that it would be a great idea to stay on the sidelines about this.
No, but it's easy. You don't have to do it anymore.
No, and none of it's complicated, which is great. So I would, excuse me, I would ask you, for our listeners, obviously getting involved in coaching so that you have all of the content and all of the tools already pre-made for you because we have that in Ethical Real Estate Professional. But beyond that, learning about this, what do you feel is the next step? We're going to roll it out to them, certainly through our
I wouldn't
coaching
learn about it.
organization.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't learn about it. I wouldn't waste any
Okay.
time learning on it. I'd waste no time. You can play with it because it's fun, but I'd
Yeah,
waste no time trying to understand it. I'd waste no time trying to learn it. I'd waste no time. I already done all the time wasting for you. You guys can get our notes if you just go to
that's
our
my point.
newsletter, harrisrealestatedaily.com. I wouldn't. I would spend all my time learning how to go after expired listings. 100%. Centers of
Work your
influence
magic number.
Work your magic number. I would waste no time learning any of this crap, and I'd waste no time or no money paying someone to teach me all this stuff because it's not going to be something like, did you have to take a lesson on how to use Gmail? You didn't, right? Did you have to take a lesson other than maybe watching a video on YouTube on how to take hit the video button on your phone? No, you did not. So the AI is going to make all of this stuff super simple to use. So you do not have to learn it. All this fancy prompting and all these people selling the secret book of prompts and all of these agents now, they're trying to sell stuff to other agents about how to, use AI, all this, skip all of it. Don't worry about it. It's a waste of time. It's all going to be obsolete and all be replaced because it's changing so fast. By the week, this stuff is evolving that quick. Spend all your time doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it at the highest level, what the other agents will never do, which is actually being a proactive lead generator. AI is not going to call expireds, not efficiently anyway. And it's going to be illegal because, by the way, TCPA says you can't have an automated dialer or an automated thing calling. It's illegal. So you're right now, there are literally millions in the world, but hundreds of thousands of agents in the United States that have zero clue how to proactively lead generate, zero clue how to actually present, have no pre-listing packs, have never actually developed the skill, and now they will not have a choice because they're going to be made obsolete. And all these agents that have been dependent on buying leads either from Zillow or from doing their own social media, obsolete. Everyone's going to have the same advantage. The level playing field has been turned over. It's a completely new day now. You've got to take what I'm saying seriously. I cannot think of a logical reason why this is not true. And if you can come up with one, put it in comments. I'd love to know. I'm not, I'd love to know what I'm not seeing. I'd love to, because at the end of the day, the agents that have the skill, the agents that are willing to pick up the phone, the agents that are willing to do what they don't want to do and they don't want to do at the end at the highest level, the agents that are going to have organized listing presentations, they're going to learn their scripts, learn their objection handlers, the very antithesis of everything you guys have been taught for the last 15 years, except by us. Okay. Those are the agents that are going to win.
Yeah.
And they're going to win at such a high level. It's going to make your head spin. Expired listings in many of your markets, an absolute unrequited gold mine. And if you want to know where source will suggest you go to get expired leads, Red X, but I'll give you there's a $150 discount you guys can get text the word red, RED, to 47372. Text the word red, RED, to 47372. And they'll give you, we do get a little affiliate commission, full disclosure, but they give you a $150 discount. They offered us more, and I said, no, I'd rather have you guys have the discount. So just text the word red, RED, to 47372. That's where we have all of our coaching clients get their expired data. They'll go into your MLS. They'll search for phone numbers. They'll search for, is the listing been relisted? How many price changes? All the rest of it. You waste no time. Sign up for Premier Coaching. Learn how to be a proactive lead generator. Go after those expireds. Learn how to be a proactive lead generator for centers of influence and past clients. I mean, I'm biased towards those things because I've seen most agents can master those two sources of proactive lead generation the quickest. And with expireds, that's the greatest opportunity right now we have in the marketplace. Julie, do you concur?
For sure. And you're random for sale by owners,
Yeah,
certainly.
for sure.
I like to add FSBOs because their phone numbers are right there as well. And it's essentially a very similar script to the expired script. I teach you and I both do this with our coaching clients, a combination of the things they're already good at, their center of influence, turning open house leads, using an open house system, expireds for sale by owners, some of them probate, but certainly expireds are my favorite too, because of all houses in the world, they obviously want to sell. So you talk to 10 of them, you're talking 10 people who have houses to sell, who have also demonstrated a willingness to list. I mean, what else could be fantastic?
They have a house to sell. You know what the price isn't, probably. I mean, in some cases, the price might have been the problem, right? You know that they're obviously willing to sell, list with their real estate agent, pay a commission. They've been a little bit, if they're a little bit, maybe they had unrealistic expectations about the market.
You got some feedback. You can even preview the pictures. I mean, what else do you want, right?
Right. I don't know. And yet, what are you guys doing? Marketing and branding to try to attract buyers.
Prospecting to cold people.
What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Because you don't want to do what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it at any level. That's why.
Well, that's only true until they have their first expired victory. And then they want to do it all the time.
Yeah. And then they realize what we've been saying for decades, Julie Harris, is true. Yeah. I mean, we did it, right? I mean, Jules and I know. And we've coached literally hundreds of thousands of agents to do the same thing. We teach you 20 different sources of lead generation. But what I'm suggesting to all of you in this particular market, the two most viable ones, expired listings and centers of influence and past clients. And yes, absolutely have an enormous amount of fun creating social media content and have it just do nothing but reinforce your proactive lead generation. So make social media content around the fact that you're able to get the yet to be sold homes sold. Create social media content that reinforces the fact that you're, Mr. Seller, sometimes the best homes don't sell, and it might not be the reasons you've been told. Create mountains and mountains of social media content that supports your on or your offline proactive lead generation work around going after expireds. You guys get it? This is your time. If you've been procrastinating all this social media stuff, well, go you. It is going to be so easy and so much fun, but you've got to pivot all of your best energies every day. Maybe your best energies are an hour or two to doing the proactive lead generation. Your job every day is to proactively lead generate, to pre-qualify, to present, negotiate, and close, and make sure you're doing killer lead follow-up, furiously fast lead follow-up. You will win in any market condition, in any interest rate environment, in any political environment. I don't care if aliens are any of it, right? It won't matter. You will win. Take this seriously. Invalidate what I'm saying. Argue against it. Let's go. Put it in comments. Let me know why Julie and I, because evidently I've convinced her, where we're wrong about what we're saying.
We're open to it. We fact check ourselves all the time.
What are we not seeing? Where are our blind spots? Help us to do our jobs better for you. If you're seeing something we don't see, let's go. Otherwise, you know what you should be doing. Yeah, exactly. This is the future. And until the rest of look, how many people will watch this podcast? Watch and listen? 10,000, 15,000, maybe 20,000 total. There's 1.6 million members of the National Association of Realtors. So if say 20,000 that consume today's show, how many of you are actually going to do something with it? 2,000? That is enormous opportunity for you to have a huge advantage in the marketplace, because I promise you, a year or so from now, everybody is going to be saying what Julie and I just said, because they'll now know that the social media branding dog don't hunt no more. And in order to be successful in real estate, you're going to have to do what Tim and Julie have been asking, begging, pleading,
Coaching.
coaching, right, there you go, for you to do for the last 2 decades. Take this stuff seriously, guys. It's the way forward for all of you. You're positioned perfectly. The market recovery is going to be unbelievably powerful. This is your opportunity. If you're selling in a low price range, if you're selling in a part of the market you don't like, go to the expensive market. We did it. A lot of our coaching clients did. This is a great opportunity for you to go up market. Hey, if you want to move out of some, cold, nasty area of the country and move to some place that's beautiful, this is maybe a good time for you to consider doing that. You can use the skills that we teach you. They're portable, and you can go to different markets and you can learn how to, guess what? You don't have to build a brand. You don't have to build a team, build your marketing and branding. You can pick up the phone wherever you land in the country and go after expireds. This is a wake-up call to the industry. Please listen. It breaks our heart for those of you that won't listen. Those of you who are listening now and don't take action, we're worried about you as well. Help us get the word out. Help us help this industry and all of our other like-minded real estate professionals. Like, subscribe, give us a 5-star review and a pithy comment on iTunes or certainly on YouTube. We certainly appreciate your support. Jules, I know you have a call, but anything else you'd like to say to wrap this up?
No, get to work. We tell you on virtually every podcast what it takes to make the money that you want to make. You just have to do the work. And if you're struggling and that freaks you out, that is why we have coaching. This is what we talk about on our daily semi-private calls all the time. We're here to celebrate you. We're here to support you. We're here to make your lives easier. So don't wait another minute. Don't be one of these people that says, I've been listening to you for 6 years and I just now signed up. I mean, that's fine too, but don't wait another moment.
Well, we hear that a ton. We hear, I was with some fairy tale coaching program and it turned out that was a dumpster fire. I should have listened to you guys in the first place. The second thing we hear is, I've been listening to you guys for years and I should have joined a long time ago. And the third thing we hear all the time is, why didn't I discover you guys before? Has no one ever told me about this podcast before? It would have saved me so much time. So yeah, there you go.
That's the
pod. Have a fantastic day. Thousands of past podcasts you guys can go and listen to, and we will talk with you on the show on tomorrow. But like I said, thousands of past podcasts you guys can dial into. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you on the show tomorrow or on Monday because this is Friday. See you. Bye. Hello. Thank you for having watched this video. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right. And don't forget to hit that like button, leave your comments and questions below, and we will get right back with you.
Thank you for watching this video. And remember to watch the next one. You're going to love that one.